After what seemed like days of travel, we finally arrived at the Turkish camp. For the first time in my life, I saw the world naked and unbridled. It terrified me.
Do you know who I am?
The Sultan, Mehmed.
Do you know why you are here?
Because our father refused to pay tribute.
Precisely. When he relents, you may be returned to Romania. Meanwhile, you have no reason to fear me. You will be allowed to keep your Jesus. You will be also taught Islam and many other useful things.
The Sultan's immediate interest in Radu was quite obvious.
This one. You are a very lucky boy. When history will be written, I will be placed alongside Alexander, Caesar, and Hannibal. No!
I saw less and less of my brother after that. One night he came to me in tears.
Father's dead.
Who told you that?
The Sultan.
He's lying.
No, Vlad, it's hideous.
What? Radu.
He was murdered.
Buried alive. I told Radu that if father was dead, they would have no reason not to kill us.
But your father had been murdered, supposedly by Romanian nobles, because your father, Vlad Dracu, refused to accept the nobles' compliance with the Sultan.
Yes.
And yet, the Sultan let you live.
I made myself live. They starved me, they beat me, they tortured me. They threatened to blind me unless I surrendered myself to the Sultan.
And then one day, as if by miracle, your suffering ended.
I was given a horse and supplies and ordered back to Romania. But instead, as my father had instructed me years ago, I decided to seek help from King János of Hungary. As I left, I made 3 vows. To avenge my father's murder, to unite my country, and to liberate Radu from the Sultan. Tell King János that Vlad, son of Drácula, is here to see him. Give him this.
Your father was a politician to the marrow. Unfortunately, he ended up being all things to no people.
Do you know who killed him?
Such is the nature of politics in the Balkans. One never really knows who one's enemy is. Aside from the Turk, that is.
Aside from the Turk, your real enemy are the Romanian nobles who aid the Turkish Sultan. These are the same men who murdered my father.
And how can you be so sure? So sure it was the nobles.
Because had my father fulfilled his mission, it was them who had everything to lose.
Your mission? Is it one of a patriot or a revengeful son?
Both. You see, he wasn't just murdered, Your Majesty. They say he was buried alive. King János, help me. With your support, I can make Romania strong.
Come. We should not be discussing such matters on an empty stomach.
Oh, young man. Where did you learn your table manners?
If you're asking about my origins, I was born in Transylvania. Romania.
I know where it is. I am Romanian.
You are Romanian?
Yes.
Of noble class.
Aaron, like your father, wishes the Turk driven from his country. I've offered him sanctuary and he has accepted.
Who is the boy's father?
My father is dead. Murdered.
Your father was Prince Drácula?
Yes.
He was a great man, but his vision was utopian. I'm practically in these cursed times.
Romania needs is a savior. Aaron, what news of the Messiah?
The Messiah?
You mean you haven't heard these tales from Romania? This man who's going to save us all from the Turk?
No, Your Majesty. In religious matters, I rely on my daughter for information.
And you, Lydia?
No, Your Majesty. But when I get to Brailia, I will inquire.
Why are you going to Brailia?
I'm entering the nunnery.
Why? Are you allowing this?
It's what she wishes.
Perhaps you would let him dance with your daughter.
Oh, well, it's been so long since my daughter danced, I'm afraid she's forgotten how.
Then I should think she's met her match. I doubt if Vlad Dracula ever learned. Unless, of course, he had lessons in the Sultan's prison. Indulge me, Vlad, before she renounces the world forever.
You had never known another woman, and yet you were sure at that moment you were meant to spend your life with this one.
Not just my life. All eternity.